Tov from Yerushalayim. Hey Chevra, hi Jack. I'd like to share an idea from this week's Parsha. The Torah reads, וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר בני ישראל לאמור, אישה כי תזריע, וילדה זכר, וטמאה 7 ימים. The Lord spoke to Moshe, tell the Israelites, if a woman conceives and gives birth to a son, she shall be impure for 7 days, given the understanding that the Torah uses as fewer words to express and teach as much Torah as possible. The Mashilach asks a very obvious question, and that is, why the biology? Why doesn't the Torah just teach, if a woman gives birth to a son, she shall be impure for 7 days? Why does it expand on, if a woman conceives? First of all, isn't that obvious? But second, what does it come to teach? And he explains that it might not come to teach something halachic, but it's something fundamental, also in our Avodat Hashem, and something so amazing that the Torah can't pass the opportunity but to express its amazement. And that is that every person, even the greatest of people, and we've just been reminded this past few weeks about amazing people that we had living among us, and we still do, even these greatest of people, they were born from the smallest event of a woman conceiving, which is such a tiny event and a tiny beginning. But this later on builds up to be a person, each and every person, but even the greatest of people. I'd like to read this in his own words. Isha ki tazri'a v'alda zachar, ze moreh la'adam. This comes to teach to the person, to every person. שלא יתרשל האדם בעבודת השם יתברך. לומר מה כוחי כי היחל, ומה יועילו מעשיי, לקשרם ברצון השם יתברך. לא יאמר האדם כן, רק יעבוד את השם יתברך, אם מעט, אם הרבה, ובלבד שיכוון ליבו להשם יתברך. We should not question the importance of our deeds and actions and thoughts and wonder what is their importance, because the biggest of things begin with the smallest of events. And Rav Yair, I think, taught this a few parshas ago. A teaching from Rav Kook, that what the great people do is put great importance into smallest of actions. And this is something that can follow, it follows, I try to have it follow me. Often not successfully, but people like you, Jack, and the joy when you come in, for example, to the bookstore and I meet you, it really teaches me of the importance of the smallest things I do. I'd like to also connect this to the time of year. So B'ezrat Hashem, this Shabbat is going to be Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And together with this joy, a month that there's no Tachanun, and a month of redemption, Chag HaGeulah. But it's also the end of Adar. And I kind of have a feeling of some sadness even, that Adar is over, Chodesh Adar, Nigmar, and is coming to conclusion. But then I read something which helps me continue the joy of Adar, and that is the Talmud, when discussing Mishenichnas Adar, Marbim B'Simcha, expanding on the Mishnah and Ta'anit, Mishenichnas Av, Mematin B'Simcha, is discussing whether Adar, in a leap year, is this Adar Aleph or Adar Bet? And the main conclusion is that it's Adar Bet, because Somchin Geulah LeGeulah. So the joy of Adar comes from it being a month of Geulah, a month of redemption. And so Nisan, it doesn't stop this process, but continues it. It makes it even greater. And Mishenichnas Adar continues to Nisan. And we have now the mitzvah of continuing, and this mitzvah of Simcha even more. The sentence says, Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha, in the plural. And I think there's a fundamental understanding that Simcha is something of a community, is something we do with a chavruta, something we do in a chevra. We can't be in Simcha on our own. Or if we can, it's much more difficult. And I think this is something very powerful that I've come to witness now about loving Torah. And that is that we each could have studied on our own, but this initiative of coming together and sharing Torah with one another and creating a chavura, I think really enables this whole process of simcha and connecting to Torah with simcha. And I haven't been participating from the beginning, but I'm very excited about listening and receiving every Dvar Torah that comes out. And I've been listening to all the old recordings and all the older YouTubes. So thank you very much, Jack. Thank you, Chevra. It should be a Shabbat Shalom and a Chodesh Tov and Geula Shlema.